What's going down, guys? It's your boy DJ Marcellus Doe, back again with another video. And today we're going to be having the official review of the Bunn QuadPods and our adjustable height stands here. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so getting into it, first we're going to get talking about the bags. So we got the Bunn Gear bag here. As you can tell, nice size bag here. It is pretty solid. It has a nice hard plastic backing in here to protect your stand. And then on the front here, you do have a zipper pouch that you can store your extra accessories in here, which is also nice for any of your floor stands if you want to carry those just in case you don't know what the design is at the venue. And then you got one big zipper to open up 180 degrees for the bag here. So I'm going to just turn this to the side so I can flip it across the table here. But 180 degree opening for the bag here. So I'm going to get this closed up and we will get this measured. So a rough measurement of the bag, it's about 41 inches by 17. So nice size bag, but still small enough to fit in any size vehicle. So that's good. So now jumping over here to the Both Lighting adjustable height stand bags. As you can tell, it's a lot smaller. Just off the rip though, a lot heavier. And we will get into the weight later. But the bag on the outside, there's no extra pouches or anything to hold your accessories. As far as the zip, you do have one zipper, but it only opens up, I don't know what you would, 90 degrees. So only opens up 90 degrees for you to get in here. Now all your products are stored inside, and we're going to go ahead and measure this real quick before we talk about the inside compartments. So our bag is about 26 by 13. So a lot smaller of a bag, but both solid bags. Can't go wrong with either one of them. Alrighty, so now since we went over the outside of the bags, we're going to get into the inside of the bags, and we're going to jump back over here to the Bunn Gear QuadPod. So I'm going to set our stands down here, set the tape measure to the side. We're just going to lay this across the full table here so you can get a good look of this. Once you open up the bag, you do have two separate sides. One side holds your main adjustable poles. Let me see if I can angle this. So we're going to have this side lean over here off the side of the table. But one side holds your adjustable poles, and then the other side hold your pretty much base stands. And we will get into the base stands here shortly. There is some Velcro here that holds a foam cover to keep your tube stands nice and separated. So we're going to go ahead and yank one of those out of there. So keep your tube stand nice and separated to avoid any scratches or damage during transportation. And then getting into the base plates here. Now you do have two separate base plates that you need for the stands. There is one with a little notch inside of it, and then one that is flat, and then they pretty much overlay. So I'm going to set this set over here to the side as well. And yeah, this is pretty much your QuadPod bag. I would say it's real nice. Keep everything super separated in its own compartment so that they're not touching and rubbing up against each other, and help you avoid scratching or any damage. So now we're going to drop these over here to the side and pull up our adjustable height stands. So for our adjustable height stands, you can see here in the bag, it's just nice and open. Just one big compartment with 4 slits for your base plate. So base plate is just a square, squircle, whatever you want to call it, base plate. So set that off to the side. And then you have 2 separate compartments that are just tossed inside the bag here for our tube stands, our adjustable ones. Now the downside of this, unlike the Bunn QuadPod stands, is they are touching. So we had these for over a year now, and you can tell they got a little bit of wear and tear on them. So I would say that is the one downside over our adjustable height stand bags. is the separation of the tubes. So now we're gonna jump over to talking about the stands themselves. We're going to talk about our two base plate options. So for our adjustable height stands, we have a flat base plate. It's a square, rounded square, squircle, whatever you want to call it, base plate. It's nice and heavy though, so it pretty much holds all the weight for you down to avoid your tube tipping over. Now with the Bunn QuadPod stands, it is a two-piece design that X's over, and they have these little adjustable pegs in them. So if you're on an uneven floor surface, you can then adjust these pegs to kind of level out your tubes. Let's talk about our adjustable height stands. These come in two separate pieces. You have your bottom part, and then you have your top part, which holds all of your adjustments. So this is where you would attach your tube to and adjust it up and down. Now with the Bunn QuadPods, you only have one single area for your adjustable height stands here. So you can see your collars here. This is where you insert your tube and screw it on, and you got your collar to tighten it down. Now overall, the Bunn QuadPod stands, these things are girthy. All right, so these things are thick, but I'll be honest with you, I kind of like the thick design with the way that the tubes are made, because in general, those are just a lot thicker tubes than a lot of other companies. So the thick design was a win for him. Now for our stands, what you need to do is screw these two pieces together. And then we glued in our bottom connector to the base plate here, and we advise you all do the same. It just makes it easier for you when you go to setup. But we have our bottom base plate screw connector in here, and now you just screw your tube on top of the base plate. Now for the Bunn QuadPods, they're a little different. You have this little plastic screw down here, plastic bolt that you unscrew. And then you stick it through the middle of the two base plates. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick that through. And now screw these on. And now our QuadPod is put together. So getting into the two tubes, you can see that both of them are pretty nice tubes. Ours are a lot thinner, as I mentioned before. Joe Bunn's Bunn QuadPods come in a aluminum design. And you would think, you know, off the two designs that our tube is a lot taller, because at their base height, our tube is a little taller, right? But actually, when you get them on the ground and raise each tube to their max height, the Bunn QuadPods get significantly taller than our tube stands. And that plays a lot in its one pole design. Now, because our tube stands, our adjustable height tube stands, have a two pole design, you can get a little bit more creative with them and make them a tad bit lower. And this is a little trick we like to show some of our users, is if you screw off your adjustable height section and just completely remove your bottom section, you can then screw your top adjustable height section into your base plate. And this allows for you to still use your adjustable height stands with creating variations in heights of your tubes. Now, I'm gonna get some tubes on here and screw them on and give you my final thoughts. So we're gonna talk about the stability of these two tubes. This is what everyone really cares about, right? You know, there's a lot of people out there who like to put their tubes on the floor because they're just scared of somebody knocking them over. Now, in my experience, I've only had maybe one tube knocked over, and that's on adjustable height stands on all four corners of the dance floor. So I wouldn't be too concerned about it. We're gonna jump over into the stability of these two adjustable height stands. And we're gonna do this by starting at the base height of each stand here and starting at the max height of each stand. So for our adjustable height stands, we're going to do the flat side and kind of the rounded corner side starting off. And I'm just going to tilt it a little bit and give it a slight baby push and see what happens. And I kind of just let that go. I really didn't push it too much there. So I'm going to give it one more go. Alrighty, so not too bad on our adjustable height stands. Can definitely handle a little bit of shaking and wobbling, especially like watch when I hit it. Oh, I'm fucking Hercules that motherfucker. So definitely can handle a good little bit of wobble there before it actually tilts over at its base height. Now we're going to go to the corner here, kind of do the same thing, tilt it a little bit. Now you can see with the rounded corners there, it kind of rounds the edge off while it kind of folds over. Now we're going to give it a little tap test on this one with it being flat. So took a decent amount of taps there to actually get it to fall, but still pretty stable for the amount of taps it took to get it going there. Now this test is taking the gravity from this side and bringing it over. So you got to think law of physics, know some science. All right, so we're just going to drop this and see how that goes. Now the Bunn QuadPod there went kind of straight flat, and I would say that's highly due to the ball on the feet there that allows for it to not wobble. You know, ours have one separate base plate. This has 4 separate feet on the base of it. So let's give it another go. And yeah, that ball on the feet there really allows for the tubes to tilt while the base is still flat on the ground. So we're going to now give this a little pat test. Good pat there. And like I said, especially on flat ground, them ball feet help a lot. But now we're going to do the corner test on this. And this is where I fear that these won't be too good because you're putting all the weight on one corner here. So we shall see. We shall see. Let me just try to get it straight. Drop it. Oh. Kind of did a little spin there, wobbled around, but still went flat. A little spin there, wobbled around. Now we're going to get us a pat test on the corner. And there she goes. So still not bad. As you can tell, both of them got a little bit of wobbliness to them. You know, they're not made for you to be backing all up on the tubes and stuff and, you know, trying to go wild and put them in the middle of the dance floor type of deal, right? But you can get trussing or use something a little bit more sturdier if you did want to do a similar design to that. But overall, super solid stands. Really can't go wrong with either one. I think it really comes down to the aesthetic that you're truthfully trying to choose. So now we're just going to do a wobble test on the max height of them. So just going over the max height real quick, as you can tell, the Bunn QuadPods get significantly higher. So if you're not putting these, if you are going to put these up at this height, I would highly recommend that you're putting them on the stage or behind you, maybe by the head table. I wouldn't necessarily recommend putting them at this height at or around the dance floor. Now ours is kind of the same deal. Still recommend even at this height to not necessarily put them at the dance floor or in the center or something. More having it roughly away from where there will be a lot of people bumping into them. Now we're just going to get these a pat test. Now, obviously, the center of gravity on these are significantly higher now, so it's going to cause it to be a lot more wobbly. So you can see there, still got a decent little bit of wobs to it. Let's just make sure my tube's screwed in all the way here. And there she goes. And that concludes our tube comparison between the Bunn QuadPods over here to my left and our adjustable height stands. And to sum it all up, pretty much when it comes down to color options, I'm choosing the adjustable height stands that we make, mainly because they come in black and white, and I really like that it matches the tube, whereas the Bunn QuadPods come in an aluminum finish. When it comes to bag designs, I like the bag designs of the Bunn QuadPods, mainly because it allows for you to put each of your components into separate parts in the bag, so you can avoid scratches and stuff in the future. As far as flexibility and being able to be creative with the stands, I would say I choose our stands, mainly because it's a two-part piece, as you can see earlier in the video, where you can break it down and make a even smaller adjustable height stand. And then base plate wise, I will say I kind of like the adjustable balls on the base plate, mainly when it comes to the stability part of things, due to it having that rotating and being able to still stay flat on the ground. Now, when you get ours on a corner too much, especially with them being rounded, it starts to round off and fall, as you probably seen in the comparison test. Overall thickness of the tubes, I'm going to give that to Bunn QuadPods too. I just think the thickness matched the thickness of our tubes a tad bit better than our skinny poles over here. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Once again, thanks for all you guys' support. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let us know if there's any other content that you are interested in. Give me a follow at DJ Marcellus Doe on Instagram, TikTok, and peace.